Welcome back to Google Cloud Next 26. We are streaming live right here in Las Vegas. I'm Alison Kosik alongside Rebecca Knight. I'm so excited to get into today's coverage, especially the interview we're about to have. It's about small, medium-sized businesses. You know, so much of the time we talk about these ginormous businesses when it comes to the cloud, when we talk to AI, when it's about AI.
Indeed, they get a lot of airspace, but in fact, the small and medium-sized businesses are the beating hearts of our communities and our economy, frankly. So this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, let's dig in. Let's bring in Sharon Prosser. She's the Vice President of SMB Sales with Google Cloud. Welcome to theCUBE.
Yeah, great to be here, and I'm always so excited to talk about small to medium businesses and what we're hearing from the front lines.
And so what are you hearing from the front lines with small to medium businesses?
Yeah, there is momentum with the capital M, and I believe that small to medium businesses are quickly emerging as the next frontier for AI adoption, and so it's a very exciting time for us. And as you mentioned, the enterprise type organizations, they've been at this AI adoption for some time, and what we've seen of late is this pivot across SMBs of taking our products in, figuring out how they can put them to use, and so we're seeing this huge uptick in adoption. And I think there's a few trends that we've seen off of this, and one, again, as I mentioned, enterprise accounts, they've been tracking this strong adoption rate over the last few years. But for small to medium businesses, they've been discovering AI differently. They haven't had the deep resources that larger organizations have, so it's been more of a trial and error phase for them, a lot of experimentation, a lot of POCs, and we're really starting to move past that phase now and see this wider adoption. And with that, real use cases are emerging, which are adding value to SMBs. And these are use cases which are focused on streamlining workflows. Anywhere where there's a point of friction in something that a knowledge worker has to do day to day, any sort of mundane task, they're figuring out that if they apply AI to those problems, they get a faster workflow. And at the end, they're going to get a higher CSAT score from their customers. And we can't forget that employee satisfaction is so important as well, as they don't have to continue to participate in these mundane tasks. And so I think this uptick that we're seeing is it's a huge testament to Google Cloud and our AI products, and just how they're meeting the SMBs where they are today. So very excited.
Yeah, so as you said, you've got momentum with a capital M. What do you think is driving this? Is it simplicity? Is it price? Is it a need to keep up with the larger companies? And what also drove the hesitation initially?
Yeah, I think a couple things. One is, I think it's the ease of access to AI tooling that has really become a game changer. I'll talk a little bit about Workspace, this Google Workspace. So this is Gmail and Docs and Drive. These are tools that are really familiar to small to medium businesses. Last year we moved Gemini into our Google Workspace products, which gave all of our SMBs, and we've got double-digit millions of SMBs using Google Workspace, it put AI at their fingertips. So that was easy access to AI. It started to get those SMBs comfortable with how to use Help Me Write in a Gmail, or take notes for me in a Google Meet. So that was one sort of easy access point for us. The other is just our tooling with Gemini Enterprise, which we're positioning as sort of the front door to all things AI. That has been a game changer as well for us. And customers can use Gemini Enterprise as an AI agent platform, and they can get it up and running in minutes. They can connect their data and make it accessible to their knowledge workers. And so I think it's ease of access that has been one of the big game changers for us here.
Because small and medium-sized businesses don't necessarily have the resources that larger enterprise companies do, how do they know what they don't know? How do they know the opportunities, the things that, that cloud can do, the things that technology can do for their businesses? what's the best way that they can learn the possibilities that are out there?
Yeah, so with small to medium businesses, a big part of our go-to-market is to make sure that the ecosystem around those small to medium businesses, that it's strong and it's supportive. And so we work a lot with partners that are on the ground in those communities, there to help customers, before, during, and after the work that they're doing with AI. And so that's been a game changer for us as well. And we have worked, we've got over 100,000 partners. We are working every day to make sure that they are up to speed on all of our products, that they are going through their certification so that as they approach small to medium businesses, they can immediately add value. I think the second angle to making sure SMBs know where to go and how to get started, we've been focusing a lot on cloud skills as well in each of the communities, and this is a chance for an SMB to turn to a developer community or a practitioner that's in their community or accessible to them that already knows Google Cloud and how to get started. And we promote a lot of our enablement through our Cloud Skills Boost platform. And there's a catalog of trainings that anyone can take. The one I like specifically is the Generative AI Cloud Leadership training. And that's a certification that anyone can come in and work at to get. And these are free. So they're also very accessible. And so we know cloud skills, making sure that the talent that understands Google Cloud is available and accessible to them. And I think those are two ways in which SMBs can get started.
In terms of finding use cases, I mean, the SMB market is so incredibly diverse. How is Google Cloud helping these companies find use cases, from a dairy manufacturer to an investment group?
Yeah, and so the real use cases have emerged, as I mentioned earlier, and these are really offering more efficiencies to the small to medium businesses. And again, as I had mentioned, it's looking at the workflows that employees have to do and making sure that if there's any just a large lapse of time that it might take, maybe it's a very paper intensive type of process that they have to do. I think that's where AI can really add value. And I'll give you an example with respect to knowledge sharing. And I'm going to actually use a Brazilian company that is in the dairy business. And they are, it's a company called Tirol. They are a 52-year-old small to medium business that has been producing dairy for the market. And they brought in Gemini Enterprise and created an interactive knowledge bank for their employees, which basically democratized all of the data access and brought more visibility to the supply chain to help their workers. And that's a common use case that I think a lot of small to medium businesses can relate to, and it's a matter of bringing that story out to the market in all geographies. I think the other use case that we see adding a lot of value is for organizations that are building content or collateral, either for their employees or for the market. We classify it as media generation. And so a perfect example is a firm called WATG. It's Wimberly, Allison, Tong, and Gu. And they are a powerhouse design firm focused in the hospitality area. They build beautiful locations for name brand hotels, and they are using Gemini Enterprise within their organization to more rapidly build visual content for their proposals, and that has helped to accelerate their engagement with their customers, taking it from days down to minutes. And it's those efficiencies these are bright spots for small to medium businesses. And I think it's just the tip of the spear for us, because as we go forward, while these offer wide adoption, I think now, in this next wave of momentum, it's going to be, the act of going deeper and really starting to look at where we can build agents, make them autonomous, and do the work for the SMBs. And so we're excited about what's next.
So there's clearly an uptick in adoption for small to medium businesses, but like many small to medium businesses, with anything, there are challenges. Go through the challenges with me that they face, and maybe give me some use cases, some examples of small to medium businesses that overcame challenges and how they went ahead and did that.
Yeah, I think that, so from a challenge standpoint, I think it really goes back to oftentimes small to medium businesses are resource constrained, and so they don't have the internal resources to sort of lay out the roadmap of how they should take this forward. And so I think that where sort of first experiences have maybe not gone as planned, or they've gone more slowly than expected, it's oftentimes the root cause is back to they didn't have the expertise to know which buttons to push and to really make it work. And so it really comes back to our reliance on a really strong partner ecosystem to bring them in to help provide that the architecture and the steps of how do you embed this in your business and get value, and that's really something we rely on in small to medium business. And again, with over 100,000 partners, we've got a lot of different partners that have different specializations, and so part of the job there is to make sure we do the right matchmaking, so that based on the SMB needs, maybe there's an industry nuance that we find and match them to the right partner. But the good news is we've got a very strong partner ecosystem to draw from.
I wonder if you could talk a little bit about the workers at these small and medium bit-sized companies. You said at the outset that you're reducing the toil, you're reducing the tedious tasks that they have to do, whether it's drafting an email to a customer or do some kind of media sharing or content generation. And you said that it also leads to higher job satisfaction, more loyalty. Can you talk a little bit about that, and then also how you build trust with these workers who may be skeptical or hesitant about adopting AI?
Yeah, and so I think it's the beauty of where we're at right now, and we are in early days with this AI adoption, because we're impacting the workflow that the employee is involved with, they can immediately see the wow factor with AI, and that's important because that gets buy-in, that gets them trusting the change in how they do their job day to day. And so it's a matter of making sure that we're listening carefully to where those pain points are. And I think of a customer, it's called Huge. They are a digital marketing platform, and they are in the small to medium business ranks, and they have built agents, so they're exploring that agentic AI use case. They've built a research agent and a contract proposal agent, so now all of their new customer sellers can leverage these agents to do the research on the customer, take that information and build a proposal, and they can do that now in minutes. So for a new business seller, that's game changing because they then get to spend more time with their customers and go get the next new acquisition. And so it's making sure we're really hitting on those pain points, and then making sure that they work, and that's what builds trust.
One last question before we go. We've got a few minutes left. As these small to medium businesses embark on their AI journeys, you mentioned this is early days. What's your advice you would give these companies?
Yeah, I would say, relative to the enterprise organizations who are sort of a few innings in to this game, small to medium businesses, this is their sort of first time at bat. And I think it's making sure we land on a few of those real use cases that provide day one value to the organizations. I think that the light bulb has to go off quickly for a small to medium business. I mean, every minute counts for an SMB, and so I think just being open to helping us understand their pain points, where their workflows are maybe a little bit more arduous or paper intensive. And with Gemini Enterprise, it's a perfect way to kick off the AI experience. So we're excited to bring that to all of the SMBs.
Thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it, Sharon. Thanks
Really
so much.
interesting
Thank you.
conversation.
Thanks. And you've been watching theCUBE, the leader in live technology coverage. We're going to be right back.